Vox Box Podcast, Episode 22. Shot through the heart. You're too late. Baby, you give Wookiees a bad name.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is great disturbance in the fort.
The Vox Box Star Wars Podcast. Your source for Star Wars comics, news, and more. And now your host, Michael Corley.
Welcome back to Vox Box Star Wars Comic Book Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Corley. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are covering Star Wars number 22. It is titled To the Last Gladiator. We open with Han Solo and Chewbacca. They and several other contestants are having to fight to the death in the main event of the Gladiator Arena. Now, before they can deal with the fact that they may have to eventually fight each other, they still have to survive the first few minutes. As would be much touted with the Hunger Games later on, they still have to fight all these other guys. Han Solo catches a glancing blow to his shoulder from a blast from a reptilian dude. He says that the only reason he's still alive is that using these needle ray guns are tricky. He's also saying in the low gravity that these guns have an actual force behind them. It sends the person who tried to shoot him flying backwards to crash into a exploding planetoid. Han Solo turns to shoot at someone else who's been shooting at him, only to find that his gun is not working. It's almost like he's being sabotaged so that he will die in here. He notes that his shield is ray shielded, and he's able to use it not only to deflect the blast, but in a sort of Jedi-like moment, he uses it to deflect the blast of one of his opponents and make it hit another. This, however, is slowly floating him backwards. The energy transferred to him from the shot is floating him into a death trap, which is masquerading as a planetoid. He is about to run into it when suddenly a huge, hairy arm grabs hold of him and pulls him free. Chewbacca and Han Solo are now together, working together. He's asking Chewie to use his gun, and surprise, surprise, his doesn't work either. Han Solo now returns the favor for saving him by blocking an incoming blast with his shield as it is about to hit Chewbacca. It appears that he's trying to do what he'd done before, using the deflected blast to hit other opponents. Both of them are able to glance out of the way, one of them even saying, "Forget it, Corellian, you've missed!" But no, he was not aiming for either of them. He was aiming for the exploding planetoid behind them. Both of them are vaporized. And lo and behold, the two's needle guns are remaining, and they are able to swim over to them. I'm not sure what the physics of the low gravity that they're in works, but apparently it's pretty much comic book logic, and that they can move around like they were in a swimming pool. We're not going to worry about it because it's Star Wars. We see Strom and Greyshade watching the battle, and Strom is pointing out quite rightly, hey, these two are working together. What are you going to do if they live long enough to tell everybody what's going on? And he says, no, it's very simple. Everyone who signed up for the final battle has signed a contract. They must slay everyone else in order to be declared winner. If they refuse, they themselves will be slain. Since both of them would never kill the other, they will be killed, and we win. Strom is complimenting his scheming and takes a drink from his drink. Greyshade is saying, no, I've got pressing business elsewhere. Strom is saying, oh, wait a second, what could be more important than this? And he falls unconscious. Greyshade has drugged Strom. We cut to Luke, Leia, and the droids. They are making their way through the arena. They must find a way to transmit what R2 has recorded, proof that the rebels were not the ones behind the pirate attacks. It was the Empire. They are following some of the security guards when suddenly the security guards turn around and have guns on them. They say, hey, we are the elite. Boy, did you truly imagine you could follow us and we wouldn't know about it? Apparently, though, these guys are the elite the way those stormtroopers on Endor later on are the Emperor's elite. All Luke has to do is jump to the ground, roll, and shoot two of them immediately. He's able to come back onto his feet as the remaining one is shooting at him and blast him as well. This, however, has let Greyshade get the drop on Princess Leia. He has snuck up behind her and has a gun pointed to her head. Leia is asking him, "What are you up to?" And I love this response. "Don't worry, Princess, I'm about to explain. And rest assured, it's more despicable and unscrupulous than you usually expect of me." We cut to the Star Destroyer that has Darth Vader on it. And I don't normally read the narration too much, but I just want you to experience this purple prose. Interlude. A Star Destroyer-class Imperial battlecruiser leaps through the hyperspace, its great wedge shape piercing the Doppler-distorted heavens, moving at the urging of one voice, a sinister voice rasping beneath the confines of a breath mask. That is, of course, Darth Vader. He is urging Captain Wormus on to make the ship go faster, so that they can find this boy, this strange boy that has the Force with him. Captain Wormus is saying, Come, Lord Vader, be reasonable. My ship is at stake. We are utterly torturing the warp drive now. Isn't it enough that we're making a mad dash to the wheel on little more than a whim?" Well, Darth Vader has some things to say to Captain Wormus. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for...
Dramatic reenactment.
The Force is no whim, Captain Wormus, and if on our outward journey I made passing contact with another mind seeming capable of evoking it, it's worth a dozen of these vessels to learn who possesses even a touch of this power I thought was now mine alone. Of course you cannot appreciate that power until you experience it. But you can move, Wormus. You can drop to your knees and crawl to me. Well done, Captain. You lack the stamina of a Caborian swamp dog, but I'm certain you can match its unquestioning obedience.
Our returning guest reader for the ominous Darth Vader was performed by Pete from the Rebels Report. Rebels Report is the go-to source for news, rumors, and analysis of the Rebel activities from the rise of the New Order until the Rebels' first victory against the evil Empire. It's hosted by Andy, Pete, with guest host Kale. You can find them at rebelsreport.com. Thanks, Pete. That was an awesome Darth Vader. Now that Darth Vader is done torturing Wormus, we cut back to the wheel. Greyshade has ushered our heroes onto his golden ship, and Greyshade is telling them flat out, "I'll let you all go. All you have to do is leave the princess with me." He is telling her, "Under normal circumstances, as in our Senate days, you never give me the time to make you love me." Ugh, man, Greyshade is creepy. Do you think Luke is having this? Nope, he sure isn't. He grabs Greyshade by the shoulder and says, "We are getting out of here right now." Princess Leia is saying, "Well, Luke, it is my decision and not really yours. Appreciate the heroics." And Greyshade is telling her, "You'd better make a decision real soon." And he points to the screen to show that Han Solo is in a battle to the death. The number of survivors are dwindling. Soon, it will be down to only Han Solo and Chewbacca. I do like Chewbacca, instead of using the shield to block, is using it to bash others in the face. It's finally come down to 3 final combatants: Chewbacca, Han Solo, and a Tyloon Night Soarer. It says that his race are famous as assassins. Han Solo has kicked one of the last opponents into the exploding planetoids, and now he is throwing away his own gun. And he's telling Chewie, "You stand the best chance against the Night Soarer, particularly since I've taken out the last death trap and he can't trick you into it. Do you understand, Furball? There's no choice. You've got to blast me and do it fast. Damn it, Chewie, shoot!" The narrator says they stare, longtime companions, inseparable partners, sharing last unspoken thoughts. Then Chewbacca does what he has to do, and he shoots Han Solo. We see Leia and Luke in shock watching it on the screen. Greyshade is saying, "Leia, I never anticipated this. I thought there'd be time." And Leia, who's crying, is saying, "Don't apologize, Simon. You've won. I can't watch anyone else I care for destroyed. Not after Alderaan. Not after this." But no one ever gained a more empty and bitter prize. And that ends Star Wars number 21. So of course you know that Han Solo is dead and will never be seen again, right? right? If you liked that reading of Darth Vader, and maybe you'd like to have a chance to be a Darth Vader reader later on the show, do me a favor. This is entirely a fan-supported podcast. We don't run any ads on here. All we do is ask for your support on Patreon. Go to voxboxpodcast.com/Patreon to find out how you can help support the show and maybe become a guest reader. You have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
So be it, Jedi.
Thank you for listening to the Vox Box Star Wars podcast. Give us a review on iTunes to help more Star Wars fans find the show. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you.